Welcome back to the Cowboys Fan Show, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler T.O. Ortega here, Kimberly Sports Skinny Temple, and Molly, our fan of the week, Stevens. So, Cowboys, they have another big one coming up this week.
They do.
They're playing the Washington Redskins division battle, and we'll get right into it here, ladies and gentlemen. Washington, 5-6. They're atop the NFC East. As you see there, they own the tiebreaker over the Giants, having just beat them. Eagles, 4-7. And the Cowboys in the cellar at 3-8. And these Washington Redskins, they are 5-1 at home this year. They
are, which is impressive. Not for the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be a tough one. And then on the flip side, they are 0-5 on the road. Good thing this game is taking place in Washington. This is going to be a Monday Night Football showdown here. So let's keep going here on the scouting report. Whenever you look at these Washington Redskins, they do have some very good players, I'd like to say.
They do. They have quite a few good names.
And this one here is probably the most prominent. DeSean Jackson.
Everybody knows his name.
This guy is just a firecracker. He's just very explosive. Fun fact, DeSean Jackson, he has so many touchdowns of 60 yards or more. Only Jerry Rice has more in the history of the NFL. The Jerry Rice.
That is something I did not know, but that does not surprise me one bit about DeSean Jackson.
Well, I mean, when you look at DeSean Jackson, I mean, almost every time you see him on the highlight reel, it's a bomb like that. Where he's just running past the secondary, running past his corners, the safeties, everybody, just everybody. I mean, even the refs.
Yes.
And they have a 20-yard head start on him. That's another thing. And the last thing here that these Redskins bring to the table, a little bit of thunder and lightning, as I like to call it. They have Alfred Morris and Matt Jones. They're two running backs. Alfred Morris, more of a pounder, and then you get Matt Jones here as they get him off on a little play-action screen. And look at him go. He's got one blocker, and frankly, I think if that blocker was not in his way, he probably would have taken that to the house.
He probably would have. That's the wheels on that guy. It just impresses me to no end. The size of these men and the speed that they can obtain. Like, I couldn't even run that, even when there was no one blocking me. Yeah, and he's just full speed ahead.
And another thing, going back to this thunder and lightning combination, they don't just use one back. Both of these guys have led the team in rushing 5 times each this season. So they can go back and forth, whoever they want to go. Like I said, Alfred Morris gets the dirty, hard yards in between the tackles. Yeah. Matt Jones, little swing passes, screen passes, and whatnot. It's going to be a tough one for the Cowboys this week.
Absolutely.
No, I definitely agree. There are some big power players, DeSean Jackson, Jordan Reed, the two running backs. I mean, if they get the ball, they're going to run. If DeSean Jackson's given that ball in the space to do it, he's going to score and he's going to put points up on that board.
And frankly, I've been having nightmares about DeSean Jackson and our secondary. Our secondary has been so bad over the last few weeks. It's going to be tough.
That's something that we've talked about a lot in the past few weeks is turnovers in the secondary, and it's just for the Cowboys, you're like, please just once cover it, do something, stop him for like a minute.
So I've told you what the Washington Redskins bring to the table. Let me tell you how to beat them here in this week's edition of T.O.'s Keys to the Game. So my first key to the game here today is going to be no big plays. We just saw DeSean Jackson take that huge bomb back to the house, 60 yards. I think it was like 64 yards on that touchdown play. And when you look at these Cowboys, this is the thing that's been haunting them all year. Let's jump right back into the film from last week against Carolina. First minute of the game here, and Romo's going to throw a pick six. It starts you off in the hole, 7-0, and it's just a momentum killer. And we'll see here, back-to-back picks by Luke Kuechly really just buried the Cowboys before half.
They cannot afford to give up that momentum. Any momentum that the Cowboys have, they need to hold on to at least through the first half of the game and give themselves just a boost of confidence.
Absolutely. I mean, the second you let the Redskins run that ball into the end zone, they're going to keep pushing, they're going to keep going, and they'll end up winning the game.
And we're still looking at these interceptions here. Romo threw 3 picks on Thursday. That's just not going to get the job done against the Carolina Panthers or the Washington Redskins for that matter.
Absolutely not.
You absolutely cannot have those big plays going back for 6 or any big plays at all when your offense struggles as much as the Cowboys do.
Absolutely.
So my second key to the game here, air the ball out. Matt Castle, please throw the ball downfield. Like I said earlier, in 2 of his 4 starts, he has not led the offense to a touchdown or passed for more than 200 yards.
Yeah.
And we saw it last week, with Darren McFadden, 10 carries, 11 yards. Matt Castle has to throw the ball because what these Redskins are going to do, they're going to do what everybody else did while Tony Romo was out. They're going to stack the box, and they're going to make Dallas throw the ball.
Yep.
And they have to throw it early. They have to get Dez involved. Speaking of Dez, he only has 2 touchdown catches this year. 2.
And that's not enough to be Dez Bryant. You can't carry a name like Dez Bryant and not have big plays to back your season. And the Cowboys are definitely going to need to throw that ball. And Castle makes me nervous because he just can't. He can't get the yards that he needs to get. And his offense is counting on him in that moment.
Absolutely. I mean, if Castle holds the ball on to too long, it's Ryan Kerrigan's going to come, he's going to sack him, and he's going to be in pain too.
Oh, yeah. Then we'll be quarterback lists.
Oh, man. We might actually see Kellen Moore, which is a scary thought, if you're a Cowboys fan. This will be our 4th quarterback of the season in Week 11. Week 12 now coming up. And my last key to the game here, it's going to be the matchup between the Cowboys secondary and those Washington wide receivers. Washington, they are huge at making big plays. I mean, we just touched on it. They have, I think it's like 8 receptions of 20 yards or more. Jordan Reed has a bunch. Deshaun Jackson has 4. Pierre Garçon. And we even have to throw in Matt Jones in there.
Matt Jones, absolutely.
So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give away some game balls, and we'll get some predictions lined up for you here in segment 4 coming up. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Cowboys Fan Show.